Welcome, everyone. My name is Andre. I'm with PGO and PGO Academy. I want to thank everyone for being on this Zoom and this training, the new officials training and education. Now, we're going to be going through a lot over the next few weeks. So our goal is to do this for the next 10 weeks, and hopefully we address some of the things that you're seeing on the football field, answer some of your questions, and help you become a better official. Now, when I started roughly 20 years ago, this wasn't this didn't exist. Um, I always try to equate that the present day and even back then, the training method for most places was fake it until you make it. That's the training. Fake it until you make it. Get out there and you'll learn a little bit here and there, but it was never like a logical way of training an individual who wants to be a game official. So our goal, and it's been my goal for at least 18 years, is to change that, is to change the current way of training officials. And the reason why is because you can't learn how to be an official by experience alone. You can't do it. You can't learn how to be an official by getting out there and been doing it for 20 years and now you know everything about being an official. You cannot do it. And I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from what I seen even when I started. To being official is a skilled position. Okay? And if you're not trained by someone in that skill, then you'll never have it. All right. So understand that. There's three ways that people try to learn how to be an official. Okay. The first way is by someone who's a veteran sharing their education experience with them. And for the most part, you say, well, this guy, this male or female won't lie to me. They're an official. They've been doing it for 20 years, so I can trust everything they say. But the thing is, if they have bad information and if they wasn't properly trained and they didn't never got into the rule book and they just let other people, they learn by uh hearsay and never got into the rule book for themselves, then they can be giving you bad information and not even knowing it. And so now they perpetuated bad information into you, and now it just continues down and track down the road. Another way that you can get information on how to be an official is by watching social media. And I've seen plenty videos on YouTube where um, they ran certain trick plays that in reality those trick plays would be dead ball fouls, but the officials in that game allow those trick plays um, to go go live and teams score touchdowns, and you'll say, well, that must be legal because the officials in that game didn't call it a dead ball foul, and then coaches starting to run it, and you allow it to happen. But in all actuality, they're wrong. And then the other way is watching it on TV, right? Watching college and NFL games. They got holding in the games. They see pass interference in the games. And there's false starts in the game. So you assume because you watch college and you watch professional football that you know football at the youth and high school level are games that are done under the National Federation of High School rules. And you go out and you officiate these games according to what you see on TV, and unfortunately, you're wrong. So the best way to learn how to be an official from the jump is to get into the rule book for yourself. Have somebody who's educated in it to guide you on the way. And then before you know it, you're there. Okay. It takes about 2 years for a new official to get comfortable on the field with the rules and the mechanics. So our goal here is to not only educate you on the rules, but educate you on the lost art of mechanics. Because I go out there and I see games, and uh, when it get down to mechanics, it's all over the place. Everybody's doing whatever. And to know that there are prescribed methods to mechanics. There are certain things you're supposed to be doing, and if you learn them, you will, I mean, it would change your confidence level, and it'll change everything. So our goal here is to start a new movement of trained game officials to get rid of all this old uh, way of officiating where you just get out there, put a uniform on, and just run around. Okay, that is the worst way of learning how to be a game official. So what we're going to be doing this upcoming season is training you on the basics, but to let you know what your goal is to earn this white band. This is our level 1 certification band. And you probably won't be able to start until next year, but we have 4 levels of certification, right? And we created this so that we can separate the trained from the untrained. And we'll talk about more about that in the future. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to be talking about today are actions at and before the snap. Okay. So there are 3 different levels of a game. You have what we call pre-snap. Then you have after the snap, the live play, and then you have the down is over, and then we can have some fouls there, right? So we have what we call pre-snap dead ball fouls, and then we have dead ball fouls that occur after the play is over. So pretty much majority of the pre-snap fouls are pretty much all 5-yard penalties, other than a unfair ike, which would be a 15-yard penalty. And in most fouls after the snap, I mean after the down has ended, or majority like personal fouls, late hits, are 15-yard penalties. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the ready for play. Now, there's 2 ready for plays in the National Federation High School, right? We have the ready for play that the referee will blow the whistle. They're ready for play. Boop. And that is a 25-second play clock. And typically, this is at the change of possession, after a touchdown, before the try. If there's we have to stop the clock for any reason, for like a foul other than defense, or a player issue, or a water break, the referee will blow the ready for play in with the whistle. The other ready for play is after the ball has been ruled dead after a down, the ball has been placed on the ground. One moment. And the official has stepped away to their position, like you see in the play pick here. Now, on these, this is what we call a 40-second play clock. There is no whistle on a 40-second play clock. All right. So after the play is in, and we go into second down, and the umpire sets the ball, everybody steps away. There should not be a whistle for ready for play. There's only a whistle for ready for play when there's a 25-second play clock. Never doing a 40-second play clock. So let's talk about some pre-snap reminders. So one of the biggest things that I see a lot of young officials and some veteran officials do is they think after the down is over and after the ball has been spot for the next down, that this is, okay, I can check out mentally. I can hold a sideline conversation. I can think about what I'm going to do after after the game. But there's no time to break or check out mentally. All right. There's things that we should be doing prior to the next snap. The first thing is knowing the down and distance. Is it second down and 8, second down and 5, second down and 1? What would that tell us? That would tell us what the defense may do next. If it's second down and 10, they may throw a pass play. So I'm anticipating the next play might be a pass. If it's second down and 1, they might just run in and get the next first down or third down and 1. So I'm anticipating a run play. Knowing the down and distance help you as a game official anticipate if it's going to be a pass play or a run play on the next down. So it's something we should be doing. We should be confirming the correct down with at least another official before each snap. This is how we can prevent from getting the down incorrect. The head linesman, the one with the chains, should always verbally and visually confirm the down with the referee. So if it's second down, if you're working the chains, you should be looking at the referee and saying, second down, third down, fourth down. You should be verbally and visually confirming every down with the referee if you're the head linesman. The line judge can look to the head linesman and confirm the down, or with the referee. The umpire can look at each wing official and confirm the down, even with the referee. These are very important after fouls, because sometimes after fouls, the box could have changed the down, or we can lose track of a down because of fouls. So again, it's very important to confirm downs. The referee should announce the distance to be gained for a first down. So the referee should say, hey, it's second down, about 3 yards for a first. All right. These are things that we could be doing to help facilitate the game, to make sure that we know what's going on and we're not lost and our mind is in the game and we're not checked out mentally. Making a mental note on the yard line that the ball is being snapped from, and if the clock is running, if the clock is stopped, all these different things that we should be doing before the snap. So this way, we're in the game and we're ready to go for the next snap. Knowing the spot where the ball is being snapped from helps determine whether it's going to be a pass, if the passer crossed the neutral zone. So, hey, the ball is being snapped from the 28-yard line, right? So a head linesman can say, tell the referee, we're on the 28. We're on the 30-yard line, all right? 30-yard line is 2 yards for a first, or it's 5 yards for a first. Would that help? Also, let's say the chains move in an error. Well, you just announced that the ball is on the 28-yard line. It's we got 5 yards for a first. So we know where to put the ball at, and we know where to put the chains at, just in case they move. So these are things you probably don't see in your game. It's probably things you don't see officials do while you work in some games. The reason why you don't see it, because they probably wasn't trained to do it. And this is why we're doing this. Again, to start a whole new movement of trained officials and knowing what you should be doing as a game official. Counting players. Now, this is something that's becoming a lost art. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not. I go out here and I look at games. I'm not seeing officials counting the players. And if they are, they're not following correct protocol or procedures in doing it. Each official is responsible for counting players. The referee and umpire, they count the offense. They don't count the defense. The umpire shouldn't be counting defense. Umpire should be counting offense. The referee shouldn't be counting defense. The referee should be counting offense. It is the head linesman and line judge responsibility to count the defense. All right. So if there's 12 on the field on defense and I'm the referee, it's not my I have my own responsibilities. They have their own responsibilities. It's not my responsibility to count their players. So if they miss it, they miss it. And we'll talk about it and we'll fix it. But everybody has their own responsibilities. Teams can be counted in the huddles and again when they break the huddles. So again, we don't check out mentally. We're looking to see where the ball's at. We're looking to see what down it is. We're counting our players while they're in the huddle. We're counting players coming in and out of the field. When they break the huddle, we're counting again. And we should be using pre-prescribed mechanics and signals to let each other know that, hey, yes, we have 11 on the field, or we have 10 on the field, or we have 12 on the field. If a team breaks the huddle with 11, signal with a closed fist. So if you see in the little pic here, we see that the referee is signaling that I have 11 players on the field. Hands right in front of you. I know some of the you see a lot of older officials do it like this. This is a really old mechanic, and that official just didn't know it changed because they're not in their rule book like they should be, or their mechanics manual, or they just old dogs that don't want to change things they learned back in the day. But the correct way of doing it is your arm is in front of you with a fist, thumb facing up. Okay? This is how you say, I have 11 players on either offense or defense. If you have 10 players on the field, you would take your 10 fingers and you'll put them on your chest, fingers wide open, and you're telling if you're the line judge, you're telling your head linesman, hey, I'm counting 10 on the field. And your line judge, your head linesman look, he'll count, either confirm that, yes, I got 10 on the field, or even say, no, I'm counting 11, which will prompt you to recount. But either or, your hands go on your chest. And if you are counting more than 11 on the field, there's different ways of signaling this. But we like the way of just taking your fist and crossing over your body. And it's saying I got 12 on the field. All right. I got more than 11, basically. And you want to count, you want to signal that to your respective official. And then we'll go from there and we'll talk about what we should do about that if we're counting 12 on the field. Monitoring substitutions. So again, we're talking about everything you should be doing before the ball is snapped, right? This is everything you should be doing before the ball is snapped. This is why we don't check out mentally. This is why we don't have conversations with coaches on the sideline, because we don't have time. Sometimes them balls are snapped very, very quickly. And so we have to be on our game. We have to be counting. We have to be monitoring substitutions. We got to, anticipate the next play. We don't have time to hold conversations with coaches on the sideline and joke around with anybody out there. Right? When possible, try to prevent a play going off with too many players. So if you're signaling that you have 12 on the field, there's two ways to prevent that. One, you want to tell the respective coach on the sideline, if you're on that sideline, line judge, if you're on that sideline, head linesman, you want to say, Coach, count your players. You never give out a number. You never say, Coach, you got 12 on the field. You never say, Coach, you got 10 on the field. All right? That's crossing the line into coaching, and it's also, you could be wrong. All right? And now that's a whole another thing to talk about. But what you want to do is say, Coach, count your players when you think it's too many players on the field. And if there is, um, the best thing to do is to call a dead ball foul for illegal substitution, than for illegal participation. In other words, if you have 12 players on the field and the ball is snapped and you do not blow it dead and you allow that play to take place and then you just throw the flag, it becomes a foul for illegal participation, and that's a 15-yard penalty. However, if you blow it dead and kill it, it's only a 5-yard penalty for illegal substitution. And so we always encourage you to kill it rather than allowing the play to go forth. Now, when should you kill it? Should you kill it after you count 12? Should you give them an opportunity for a player to get off the field? We'll talk about that in a little bit, but as further as we go, and just think about that, what would you do? And we'll talk about it later. Clock management. Again, this is everything prior to the snap. Make a mental note of the clock status when the ready whistle or the play clock starts. So, is the clock supposed to be starting? Is the clock supposed to be not running? Everyone should look at the clock and make sure it is either running or stopped before doing pre-snap duties. Okay. Does the clock supposed to start at every time? No. If it's an incomplete pass, the clock is not supposed to start until the snap. If there's a timeout, the clock is not supposed to start until the snap. The player run out of bounds with forward progress, the clock is not supposed to start until the snap. So knowing that and looking and monitor the clock, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing is a good thing, and every official should be doing it. It can also help determine if there's a malfunction with the clock. A second wristband can be used by the referee to track clock status. In other words, if I got the indicator on my finger, that means the clock should be running. And then, I think, I'm sorry, I made a mistake on that one. Okay, yes. So if it's on my index finger, it should be running. If it's unengaged and I have it not on my index finger, the clock's supposed to be stopped. All right. Situational awareness. All right. Knowledge of the game situation helps prepare for what is to come. All right. Player selection will almost assuredly vary from 3rd and 1, then 3rd and 12, and what we were talking about earlier. Okay. So just knowing what down it is and the distance will give you a clue on what possibly can be the next play. It could be a run play or pass play based on the down and distance, right? Based on how far behind they are, all right? Based on if it's close to being halftime or the game is over, right? Or the game is tied. So all those different scenarios and knowing the game situation will help determine that. Teams are likely to use timeouts late in the half. Should know that. Should be ready for a coach to call a timeout. Avoid erroneous grading timeouts remaining before each snap. In other words, you think a coach is saying timeout, but he's not. All right. All crew members should confirm remaining timeouts when one is used. So I hear people saying there's 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 2. Right? I'm not saying nothing is really wrong with that, but when I was growing up young as an official, there's gonna always be a mix-up when you say that. So we always encourage that you either identify the team or the color and then the remaining timeouts. All right. So blue has 2 timeouts and white has 1 timeout. All right. The offense has 3 timeouts, or The Jags have 3 timeouts and the Bears have 1 timeout. All right. So that helps that if I'm writing, you saying 2 and 1, I might be thinking you saying 2 on the other side and 1 on the other side. So it's always good, a good practice is that when you're given a timeout to identify who and then how many timeouts they have left. All right. So a good acronym that we have developed this year is called SNAP, and it's something that everyone should learn. You should know this acronym. If I ask you what it means, you should know it. If you're looking for your certification, you definitely have to know it. But what is SNAP? Signal the defense and count and the down. So again, you want to signal that you have 11 players or 10 players or 12. Count your defense, wing officials, and if you are um, a a headline, I mean a referee or umpire, you're counting your offense, and you want to signal down. All right. So I'm saying, hey, it is we got 11 on the field. It's third down, or it's third down. I got 11 on the field. Any combination of that is fine, but you want to do that. I don't care if it's a dead ball foul. Recount and confirm the down. Right after a timeout, recount and confirm the down. After there's a end of period, recount and confirm your down. Right. Every single time we want to ingrain this into you, and you should be doing it. I don't care if the other official on the other side is not doing it. You should do it. Right. This tells everyone that you are a trained official when you signal downs and count your officials, count your players. Neutral zone infractions and dead ball fouls. Okay. So again, the snap is just to remind you and to help you of some of the basics that you should be doing before the ball is snapped. So you're going to look for neutral zone infractions and dead ball fouls, and we'll talk about that a little bit here in a minute. So in the rule book, A means offense. All right. B means defense. K means kicking team, and R means receiving team. Right. So that's the acronyms that you should know in the future. A is offense, B is defense, K is kicking team, R is receiving team. So A is referring to the offense and making sure how many backs in the backfield. So part of your pre-snap routine is to look in the backfield of the offense, and you should only have 4, a max of 4. It could be 2, that's fine. It could be 1, that's fine, but it cannot be more than 4. So you should be counting and make sure that you only have 4 in the backfield. And then P is position of the offensive line and covered up eligible receivers. So on this, you want to, as you count your offense, you want to make sure they got to have a minimum of 5 on the line. It's not 7 anymore. It has changed. All you have to have is 5 is 5 on the line of scrimmage. So on offense, but you want to make sure that everyone is lined up properly. There's no one lined up incorrectly. You don't have backs in the backfield when they should be on the line of scrimmage. And if you only have 2 backs in the backfield, that means you have 9 players on the line of scrimmage. So remember that the only eligible receivers on the offensive line are the other receivers at the end of the line, right? In high school is by number, so they got to be a number 1 through 49, or 0 through 49, or 80 through 99 to be an eligible receiver if they're on the end of the line to be eligible. But in youth, we don't really do the number exceptions. So, but if you got a player on the inside, we call that being covered up, and they're an ineligible receiver. And if it's a pass play that crossed the line of scrimmage, it's a foul. But this is thing, we'll talk more about that again. But these are the acronyms of pre-snap that we want you all to know, to memorize, and to make it a common practice in the games. So let's talk about the line of scrimmage and the neutral zone. All right. There are two line of scrimmages. All right. One is for the offense and one is for the defense. And this line, as you see here, is in the neutral zone is the length of the football. That's the neutral zone. And the only one that can be in that neutral zone legally is the snapper. Right? His head or in his arm can be in the neutral zone, obviously, because he has to touch the ball. Everyone else, no. All right. Now, we know in youth, you might see a little helmet in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, we know a lot of young officials call it. We know some veterans call it. When we get into preventive officiating, we'll talk more about that. But just understand that's the neutral zone. So the snapper and the snap. So when it get down to the snap, there's restrictions that the snapper has after touching the ball. All right, a snapper may rotate the ball, but may not move the ball forward. And we see that a lot in youth. The ball might be on the 28, and then when they get there, because they're so tight, they may move the ball to the 29. All right, and which basically put the defense in encroachment because the snapper moved the ball forward. So a lot of fouls that we're calling encroachment, the defense did line up properly, but we wasn't paying attention, and the snapper moved the ball forward. And now we call it encroachment on the defense, when in all actuality, it's a snap infraction on the snapper because they moved the ball forward. Okay? A little trip. Cannot turn the ball from end to end, so it can't turn the ball parallel to the line of scrimmage. It must be perpendicular. And turn the long axis anytime parallel with the line of scrimmage, and things of that nature. Okay? All right. Remove both hands from the ball. So if the snapper has two hands on the ball, as long as they don't jerk it back really quick, they can move one hand off the ball. But in all actuality, once the snapper places his hands or her hands on the ball, their hands cannot come off the ball until the ball is snapped, or a timeout, or a dead ball foul. All right. Can't make any movements that simulate a snap. So like I said before, if you have your hands on the ball, you can't like jerk one hand really fast to try to get defense to encroach. So again, we want to make sure that's not happening. So as long as they're not simulating a snap, we're fine. And clearly pause before the snap. So you can't touch it and then snap immediately. It has to pause for at least 1 second. All right. The snap must be quick and continuously and backwards. Leave the hands of the snapper immediately and touch any team A back or the ground. And so you might see a trick play where the snapper will hold the ball and then somebody will come grab it. That's a dead ball foul for snap infraction because that ball must be quick, continuously backwards, and must leave their hands. Okay, so to show you something on that picture that was before here, hold on. So this picture right here, this would be a snap infraction because in 16A, the snapper moves the ball forward, then back. Because it has to be a continuous backward motion by the snapper moving the ball forward, then snapping it back, like this, that's a dead ball snap infraction. All right. So let's talk about some common dead ball fouls real quick. Encroachment. All right. Occurs when a player of either team enters the neutral zone anytime after the ready and the ball and before the snap. Okay. So there's two different types of encroachment. We're not going to really talk about it here. There's one encroachment before the snapper puts his hands on the ball, and there's an encroachment after the snapper puts his hands on the ball. We're not going to go that deep in this, but just understand that. But understand that the encroachment here we're going to pretty much talk about is after the snapper puts his hands on the ball. All right. Also, there is, and we want you to get this out of your, again, I know you watch a lot of college and you watch a lot of NFL, and I hear a lot of officials using these terminologies on the field. And it again, every time you do that, you just scream out loud that you just don't know the rules. The terminology offsides is not a terminology in youth and high school. So please stop using the word offsides. You can't find it in the rule book. There's no foul in high school and youth football for offsides because the foul does not exist. All right. There's only one foul, and that's encroachment, and that's a dead ball foul. And encroachment is lining up in the neutral zone or jumping into the neutral zone before the ball is snapped. Okay? That can be offense or defense. That can be a tackle, line up incorrectly in the neutral zone. That can be a receiver, line up incorrectly in the neutral zone. That can be a defender, line up in the neutral zone, or a defensive player jumping early and jumping into the neutral zone. All of those are what we call encroachment, and they're dead ball fouls, not live ball fouls. It's not you throw a flag and let the play go, and then you come back and you say, I got offsides. All right? Because there's no foul for offsides in high school and youth football. The only foul is encroachment. So that's the terminology you should be using, not offsides. Well, I heard the commentators say offsides. I heard the coach say offsides. Well, of course, because they're not trained. They don't actually know the rules. All right? They're thinking about they're thinking about college and NFL when they hear offsides by the referee or by the commentators. But in high school and youth football, there is no offsides. All right. So what's commonly occurs encroachment? Players miss time to snap and enters the neutral zone, the defense, right? If the offense do this, it's a false start. So even though they may jump into the neutral zone, you're not going to say encroachment on the offense. You're going to say false start because they jumped. But if they line up in the neutral zone before the ball is snapped and they just sit there and they line up, that's encroachment, okay? Or a player lines up incorrectly. That can be offense or defense. Let's talk about another common dead ball foul. So that was encroachment, is illegal substitution. All right? So a replaced player must begin to leave the field within 3 seconds. So you see here as player number 1 comes onto the field, player number 2 only has 3 seconds to leave the field, or it's a dead ball illegal substitution. Okay? So pretty much what I normally do if I'm the referee is the offense, like, all right, somebody got to go, somebody has to go. We call that preventive officiating, and then that's what we do. Now, to let you know this, there is no such thing of a foul for breaking the huddle with 12 players, like in the NCAA and NFL. Okay? So, because think about it. If I have within 3 seconds to leave the field, and let's say number 1 came on there and told me I have to go, and as he tells me that the huddle breaks and I'm leaving the field, we're breaking the huddle with 12. Is that a foul for illegal substitution because you break the huddle with 12? No, because I'm leaving within 3 seconds. So in college, yes. In the NFL, yes. But in high school and in youth, no. It's not a foul to break the huddle with 12. Okay? You just got to get off the field within 3 seconds. So the most common place where you see players line up with 12 is either a change of possession, um, a timeout. So let's say we had a timeout. Coach said, "Okay, I need my offense blue or offense white. I need my first offense." And then one of the guys on second offense um, go on the field with first offense. And now you got 12 like lined up because they didn't have a huddle. Now you got 12 on the field, right? So what do we do? Do we just kill it then? Well, typically what we ask is that you say, "Coach, count your players." And if the ball is imminent and is about to snap, we kill the play and we penalize them for illegal substitution. No, so we give them an opportunity to get off the field that we give defense. We just don't say, "Oh, 12, blow it." No, we give them opportunity. "Coach, count your players." All right. The best thing to do, because guess what? The wing officials don't count the offense, right? That's the headline, that's the referee and the umpire. So what I normally do is I always tell my wing officials, "Look at my count. If you see me put my fingers, I'm telling my umpire that I got 10 on the field, and that's your sideline, tell the coach to count his players. If you see me put my fist over and cross my body, saying I got more than 12 on the field, that's your sideline. Tell your coach to count his players." All right? Because I can say it, and sometimes they may hear me, but you're right there. So part of your pre-snap is watch me, watch your referee, watch your umpire, and see what they're doing when they're counting. And then a change of team possession, where you normally see 12 on the field. Again, offense or defense come on there with 12. Coach, count your players. Never say, "Coach, you got 12 on the field." Count your players and give them an opportunity to get them off the field. If not, then we're going to ring them up for a dead ball illegal substitution. Why? Because if you let it go and then you just throw the flag, now it's a 15-yard penalty. And we, as game officials, are trying to do least as possible to penalize teams, right? We're ready to give 5 and 15s all day, right? All right, another common dead ball foul is um, rules that does not apply for entering substitution until it becomes a player. So, obviously, if you see a player running the field from the offensive side, trying to get to the defensive side, obviously they didn't foul, they're not encroached because the ball hasn't been snapped. So we give them opportunity to go on their side of the football. All right, one or both of the snapper's hands may be on the end of the ball. The closest the team B's and everything else must be behind the neutral zone. So in other words, his helmet can't be over the ball. It has to be in the neutral zone, but it can't be over the ball. All right. And it's an encroachment to strike the ball or the snapper's hands or arms prior to the snapper releasing the ball. Okay. So it used to be an old practice to where the snapper, the nose guard, as the snapper is trying to snap the ball, is trying to knock the ball out of the snapper's hands. That used to be legal, is no longer legal. If you see a snapper, if you see a nose guard reaching in to snap the ball or trying to hit the ball, shut the play down, kill the play for encroachment on the defense. One moment. So I'm trying to show you a play. Give me a second. If it want to work. There we go. All right. So we're gonna play here. Let me get y'all guys on there. So here go a play what I was referring to.
Observe the nose guard's actions at the snap. Interrupting the snap in this manner is not legal. The officials properly stop play. Team B is penalized 5 yards for encroachment.
All right. So
Dead ball, encroachment, 48, defense, 5-yard penalty.
all right. So again, you see here.
Observe the nose.
You see here the nose guard jumps down, trying to knock the ball out of the snapper's hand. Again, this used to be legal, but the rule has changed a couple of years ago, and now it's illegal. So, umpire, you might be in better position to see this. Wing official, not so much. But if you do see it, we need to kill it because it is illegal. Okay. All right, so let's talk about false starts. Any act clearly intended to cause the team B to encroach, quarterback head bobbing, abrupt changes from 2-point stands to 3-point stands. And now let's talk about that because I've seen that a lot. There are some offense that will do it all the time. They'll go down sharp and then they'll shoot the 3-point stand sharp. If it's something they doing like every time, the defense get used to it. You see it. That's just how they operate, and you'll be a little leery than calling a false start for that. But let's say it's 3rd down and 1, and now they do that, and it's the only time they did that, and there's an encroachment. It's false start on the offense. Okay, that action was clearly intended to cause the offense to false start. To encroach. I apologize. So watch out. We had a game this weekend where the quarterback was in a shotgun and said, hike, throwing the hands back really quick to cause the defense to encroach. Again, you'll see these on close 1st down plays, on 3rd down or 4th, when it's like, all they need less than 5 for a 1st down. Some of the untrained players or coaches may do some of these things, so be mindful of that. All right. Any alignment between the snapper and player on the field of the line, having placed a hand near the ground, both hands may not move those hands or make any quick movement. So if I go down to 4-point stands, I'm in the 4-point stands. There's no coming out of that. If I'm in, obviously I'm in the 3-point stands, and I'm covered up. In other words, as a player on the other end, I can't remove my hands. Okay, so all of these will be false start. You see it in youth a lot, and we pretty much don't call it. Even in the older group, definitely in high school, you may call it. But they got to be trained, right? If a false start caused Team B to encroach, we're only going to penalize the false start. Obviously, we're not going to penalize the encroachment. All right. Restrictions begin after they're ready for play and after the snapper has touched the ball. So you can't have a false start until the player put his hands on the ball. Snapper put his hands on the ball, okay? So this is at the end. So we're going to talk about dead ball foul mechanics. And then we'll call it the night, and we'll talk about live ball fouls next weekend. Next Tuesday at 7. So let's talk about officials and dead ball foul mechanics. Because again, a lot of stuff be going on out there. A lot of incorrect mechanics be going on. And with this new movement of well-trained, certified game officials, we want you to be well-trained. We want you to look good and look sharp out there. And this is where it all begins here. So there's 3 steps to a dead ball foul. So in other words, if you see encroachment, what do? Do I throw my flag, then try to blow my whistle? Do I just blow the whistle and throw my flag? what do I do when I see a false start, when I see encroachment, when I see a snap infraction? What are the steps for us as game officials, and what should we do? Well, in the rule book, it says a game official should indicate the ball remains dead by sounding his whistle immediately when a foul occurs before a snap or a free kick. So the first thing you should do is blow your whistle, not the second, not the third, because I've seen officials this season where they see a dead ball foul and they're trying to throw their flag, but the play already takes place and it's running down the field, and now they're trying to blow their whistle, and it's like it's late. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? You like it's an inverted whistle. No, I got a false start. I got encroachment. Well, the play is kind of already taking place already, and now it's like it just don't feel right. It's out of place. So you want to kill it first by blowing the whistle. The second thing you want to do is toss your flag in the air. Okay. And the third thing you want to do, where we see a lot of officials missing it at, and it's the third step, and that is stopping the clock. I see a whistle, blow the whistle, throw the flag, and like this. Hands are down. Pointing this way, pointing that way. All right. That is the improper way of calling a dead ball foul. It's a whistle, flag, stop clock. That's the mechanics. Okay. If I was grading you and you wasn't doing that, you're not going to get a good grade. Okay. Blow the whistle, throw the flag, stop the clock. What if the clock is not moving? Stop the clock anyways, because you want to ingrain that into your subconscious. You want to ingrain that into your DNA, that this is how we do a dead ball foul. Whistle, flag, stop clock. Whistle, flag, stop clock. All right. Ingrain it into your subconscious. Say it, practice it, rehearse it, because all these things is going to help you become a better official and look good out there, look sharp out there, and look like you're a trained official. All right. So I could tell right away if you've been trained just by those little things like that. Let me show you a video.
Yes, sir.
Let's see if I got the video up. Hold on, let me get it up right quick. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there's no sound on this video because I cropped it in earlier. All right. What happened there? Okay. All right. So watch the official down at the bottom here. On this is the proper way and the correct way for dead ball fouls. It's 21 seconds, so it's not bad. So what you're going to have is a snap infraction on the snapper. He's going to another snap infraction when the snapper hesitate the ball, like double jerk it. That's a dead ball snap infraction. So again, remember, snap, right? Signal your defense. Signal the down, in neutral zone infractions and dead ball fouls. One of the dead ball fouls is a snap infraction. So the line judge right here is looking down the line. It just happened really fast. You probably missed it. And let's watch what he does. Blow the whistle. He throws his flag, and he's coming in, stopping the clock. Now you may do this on a high school game and a college game because you're doing one game. By the fifth game, you're probably not walking in. You're probably not being so enthusiastic and running in like he is because, you're tired. But in all actuality, you're supposed to blow your whistle, throw your flag, or do it simultaneously, stop the clock and run in. because you want to kill the play. All right. You want to come in, stopping the clock, and saying false start. Right. We do not want you to give the signals. All right. Because what if the line judge head linesman have encroachment on the other end? So we don't want you doing all that. We just want you to come on in and just tell her what you have. Okay. Stop giving signals out there. That's really bad mechanics. But that is it for me for the day. Unmute yourself and let's answer any questions you may have.